Hey everyone, thanks for being here with More Than Meets These Guys. We are doing another episode of the UK Marvel comics. This one is going to be the finale of The Man of Iron, and I'm joined with Boo from the ActionalUnderground.com. Thanks for being
Hooray!
here. Yeah. So yeah, man, we're this is a big one. We're concluding the first story, and there's lots of new things in the comic besides.
Oh
So
yeah. You know, starting off with the cover, we got a really cool picture of Jazz crashing into a seeker.
which is great. I love it. They take these panels from the book, put it up there full color. Looks really nice.
Oh yeah, they do a really good job on those.
Yeah. And the letter of the editor talks about the endings and beginnings, which is where the Chromobots are a new comic in this, which I have something to say about that. But Decepticon Fact Vial is on Skywarp, which is it's deserved. I mean, they keep thinking Skywarp is Thundercracker, Thundercracker, Skywarp, so why not throw one of them in here?
Right? Somebody needs to study this fact file.
Yeah, exactly. And this letter from a guy who made a puzzle out of a Transformers poster, which is pretty cool.
Oh yeah, he cut up the poster and
Yeah. And put it in like cardboard or something like that and
yeah,
created basically a puzzle for his little brother or something like that, wasn't it?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
It was really nice brother there.
Yeah, a lot better than my brother was to me when I was younger. Um,
Yeah, all I got was bruises.
at best. But yeah, there's some cool art of there's some like yeah, Soundwave art in this book also, like from fans. Yeah, I like when they show a lot of the fan art in there. It's kind of neat seeing all that stuff.
And it looks like we have the first published Transformers poem.
Yes. I'll let you go
Yeah.
into that a bit.
Oh, I just saw that. I was like, wow, this has to be the earliest poem ever written by Transformers. It was
And it's
by
actually pretty
Anthony
long.
McEwen,
It wasn't bad at all. It was just I was like, is this really gonna go on this long?
right?
Yeah, he went all
It,
out
it,
after it.
it was pretty good. Maybe I'll say that'll be my quote at the end of the thing. I'll read the poem.
You're gonna read the poem's quote?
I'll
Beautiful.
just read it.
I was about to start reading it, but you take it. This is from Anthony McEwen and Cromarty Rothshire.
I will save you that indignity.
Thank you. Thank you. A little mandala contest winners announcing the mandala puzzle from was it from the Man of or the Machine Man mandala puzzle thing from like I don't know
Yes,
issue like three maybe four.
I don't remember that ever existing. So
Oh, you don't remember the
didn't.
mandala puzzle?
It must be the Mandela effect.
Oh,
Oh,
I was
sorry.
waiting for that one. I said mandala, and you were acting like you didn't know what I was talking about.
You knew I was into it. I
You
just
know. They give a little story so far, kind of thing. But man, I was expecting to go into the Transformers comic, but no, we get Chromobots, which
yes.
this kid loves the UK Marvel Transformers book, apparently. Dude's got Machine Man posters up. He's reading like one edition of the Transformers comic on his bed, and he's I gotta look at this picture real quick. I've seen screen caps already, like Make Mine Marvel. He's got a Matt and the Cat poster. God, he's yeah, this kid's a fan kid, all in all, 100%.
Yeah. It's there's some interesting stuff here about chromobots because we don't really have any information on this page of who created chromobots, who's writing it and drawing it.
Yeah,
Okay, so I had to do a deep dive,
as I expect.
and this is it's written and drawn by and I know I'm going to say this wrong. It's Mikhailo Kazibrid or Mike Kazibrid. Okay, he goes by Mike, I guess,
Hey, thank
for
you.
short. Okay.
Mhm.
He is the writer, illustrator, and character creator who does Matt and the Cat.
The styles look very similar. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So Matt the Cat was also a strip that ran through several UK newspapers as well. It wasn't
Oh,
just
okay,
published here. Yeah. But
nice.
he created Chromobots in-house at Marvel UK specifically for this comic,
Okay,
which is why, when you see the character Dudley, he's reading a Transformers comic and he's got
yeah,
Machine Man and Matt and the Cat posters on his walls.
little
So
nods.
okay, well, what Mr. Casabrit is really known for, though,
Mhm.
is he was the original illustrator of the Wallace and Gromit comic strips.
Really? That's kind of cool.
And he also did comics for the Tick, more notably the Tick's holiday special, The Bestest Story Ever Told,
That's fantastic.
where the Tick decides to direct a Christmas pageant starring the city's heroes because there's no villains on the streets. So he decides he's going to do this, and it gets crashed by a team up of Chairface, Chippendale, and the Terror.
Let's do my favorite Tick villains.
Right, and that was featured in a big compendium of the Tick Giant Christmas Cavalcade from
Yeah.
year 2000.
I've got that somewhere in a long box.
Oh, see, there you go. It's
Yeah.
closer than you think. And he also worked on comics for Shaun the Sheep,
Nice.
Duckula, and
Duckula.
Danger Mouse.
Oh, I love Danger Mouse.
Yeah, and he's done a lot of other work too.
Man, it's like all over my childhood.
Yes. Well, I don't know how close this is to your childhood, but he also illustrated a set of children's books featuring the pets of Sherlock Holmes and Watson solving mysteries. And it was really just a vehicle of teaching kids about real world problems like diminishing freshwater resources or the value of UNESCO World Heritage Sites. And he also had one in that series about steroid use in sports.
And the loss of freshwater for the planet is actually really hits home for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I knew you really liked that one.
Yeah, like the eutrophication is a big thing I like to read about and get angry and shake my fist in the air about. So that's really cool.
And he also illustrated part of the Lion Kids Bible comic.
You showed me a picture of this thing.
That's the tie-in right there. But he also did the Lion Kids Bible comic activity book, Comic Bible Christmas, Greatest Bible Adventures, God's Message for Children, Pocket Guide of Place Names of Sheffield, and the Sheffield dialect and folklore since World War II, a dying tradition.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's awfully specific.
Okay, I gotta say, this honestly does not surprise me at all. So
and all these are available on Amazon. I looked them up. I was reading some of the reviews.
Already
apparently, the Lion Kids Bible comic is kind of a funny take on the Bible. So now I have to read it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got to see. And the style in it really looks like Mad Magazine.
That's great. It kind of does on the cover. So I have a little story of myself for this past week.
Oh yeah, do tell.
Yeah, so this kind of ties into this because I saw the art of the father in this comic.
Mm-hmm.
It reminds me a lot of
who?
The Jack Chick comics. So
totally. Yeah, you are absolutely right.
My lovely wife has never seen or heard of Jack Chick.
Oh boy.
She's from Oregon, so it's not her fault. She got out of she was never in the deep south until she, came down to Florida and so on and so forth.
I was gonna she's a little far north and west.
Yeah. So another old friend of mine who lives in Washington commented that he has not seen one since he moved there. So yeah, Jack Chick, you can fill in the blanks here. He was a fundamentalist Christian guy who made these comics, basically like satanic panic style comics.
Conspiracy theories.
Yeah,
sorry, I had something in my throat there.
This one's actually about you can guess vaccinations. There's one about the Dungeons and Dragons one that was fantastic. That was always a classic. But you have all these
oh yeah, Dark Dungeons.
Dark Dungeons, yeah, where her character
Blackleaf died.
Yes.
Never read that one. Never read.
So I'll make sure I put a bit of the father's drawing in that he looks like a Jack Chick drawing of someone's dad.
Yeah, we need some side by sides.
Oh man, he has the cop mustache and everything, like the tie and the big 1980s glasses, the boxy eyeglasses. It's amazing. So yeah, as soon as I saw that, like, dude, this is perfect. It's serendipitous that I found this. By the way, curled up in a gas pump. And as my wife said to me, she's like, "You mean how they used to warn us that they put like AIDS needles in the gas pumps?" I said, "Yeah, actually, exactly like that, curled up in there." waiting for someone to pump gas and read it and change their mind about vaccine. Okay, anyways. Yeah, so that was a neat little, serendipitous crossing there. Anyways. So,
That's funny.
oh, it's fantastic. Yeah, I mean, the kids reading comics and his dad's getting kind of first we're like, I don't understand that boy kind of stuff. And then you cut away to this big, well, like the kid's like, oh, I'm sorry, I have imagination, Dad. But we cut to this robot flying, this all curvy looking, looks like not army. Um, very, I don't know, it looks very 80s low budget sci-fi robot
Yeah.
flying in the air, all chromed out, obviously, because it is a chromobot. And he has the thing where he starts descending and starts to crash. He crashes in the window of this kid here, and you realize the robot is about the size of, well, and like a transformer. He's fun size. He's a toy size.
Yeah, he's a little thing.
Yeah. It makes it look, because you don't see him compared. You see him against the clouds, and he looks like he's this big robot. He crashes in there, and then the kid's like, oh my gosh, sees this I guess I'm trying to look at the picture, like he's like maybe the size of a dog, I guess. I mean, he's not quite toy size, but he'd be like
He's
big.
like Fortress Maximus size.
There you go. Sure, that works.
Toy Fortress Maximus, not like the
Yes.
actual like giant.
And that's
Titan.
our preview of Chromobots. Not really much going on, just kind of throw us in there. But man, I love that drawing style.
Oh yeah.
But man,
yeah, and Dudley is just like he's our every trans fan.
Oh yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
I love it too,
because he doesn't even hear his dad calling for him when he's reading his Transformers comics.
I love it. He's got his Marvel Make Mine Marvel pennant on the wall. He's got his Machine Man poster that probably came in like an annual or a comic or whatever up on his wall. He's got a stack of comics on his dresser.
Well, they hid some I guess Marvel propaganda throughout this.
Oh
comic.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It was kind of fun to watch it.
Yeah.
See, old Mike. I'm not gonna say Mike. Was his name Mikhail?
Yeah.
Mike. Yeah. He. You can tell.
Mike is good.
Yeah. He wanted to get that. He wanted to get that nod to everything that they've been working on with this, which is really.
Yeah, and he's still active. He's pretty active on Twitter. He's been doing like political cartoons and stuff. Like I sent you one earlier.
Mm-hmm.
That like he called the Ukrainian invasion like a year before it happened.
Yeah. Well.
And I mean, it's not like it wasn't telegraphed, but
yeah,
still.
if you want to, not to go political or at all on this, but yeah, it was pretty telling that they were going to keep going into Ukraine.
Oh yeah, well that's just world history now.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But yeah, we jump right into Man of Iron.
Yeah.
And it's a problem with the excavation. There's like something unidentifiable and big.
Oh yeah, and I just want to say they have bumped the actual Transformers and Transformers comics back 3 pages.
Yeah,
they did it last issue actually. When they moved Robot Roundup to the front.
You're right, they did.
But every issue before that, from like 1 through 10, Transformers started on page 4. Now it's bumped to page 7. So you have to kind of work to actually get to your Transformers in your Transformers comic.
Yeah, I think they did that just because they want people to read the other things they have in there. Because I'm sure if you're picking a comic, you don't care about anything else, you're gonna like skip ahead or go past the things in the middle. So if
you hide it behind Machine Man, nobody's gonna see it.
Yeah, you're not wrong about that. And this issue definitely hits home with that. But
I think it actually got better this issue a little, just for the camp. But we'll get to that.
Man, I cannot wait to talk about that. So yeah, they're trying to excavate what's going on. They said the last time there's something the size of an ocean liner down there. They can't figure out what it is. And they also detect this reading on something on the subsonic spectrum, which I think is a kind of signal. And they can't quite figure out what's going on. They think it's trying to signal maybe some extraterrestrial craft or something like that.
It's LV-426.
Yeah, they're like, I bet it's trying to contact something close to Earth. Maybe there's a ship up there.
Yeah, they think it could be a distress call or maybe a homing signal.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is unit, so I mean, makes sense. They would think that.
Yeah.
But
it's full of face huggers.
Oh, this castle's done. But yeah, they're trying to figure it out, and there's this nice you know, far shot that comes closer and then closer. You see this Autobot symbol that's on the side of the chromed out hull of something.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool Autobot symbol. It's almost a wrecker symbol.
It is. It's very well. It's very. It's less put together, like less smooth on the edges. It kind of comes out of the symbol a bit. So yeah, I mean, we were also
Well, and
talking
it's black with
black and red.
red
Yeah,
outlines. Yeah, so
really like it. It's really nice.
yeah, it looks cool.
Yeah. But while they're doing this, they're trying to figure out what's going on and what they can do and what it is, and they're kind of throwing around theories. And then the Earth starts shaking. There's a tremor, and people are like, freaking out. They're like, "What's going on?" This guy's like, "Look," and the land starts rising up, and you see the Man of Iron, underneath this big platform. It just came out of the ground.
He's got a lift.
Yeah, he does have a lift. Really nice
Yeah.
lift too.
It's
And
like those garages that you can like put your car like underground and park
Yeah.
another car on top of it. That's what it kind of reminds me of.
It kind of does actually. And then what's the Harker? What's his name? Roy Harker?
Yeah, Roy Harker, the
Yeah,
curator.
Roy's like, it's the Man of Iron, it's him. He's flipping out because he realizes it's all coming together now.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah, and Whitley has called in his superior officer, Major Dawes, to come and check it out because they don't quite know what to make of it.
yeah, which it makes sense. I mean, they're driving on the Jeep and they get close enough. What's that?
Oh, I'm just laughing about what's coming up.
Oh yeah. They drive up on, they're like, good God. And it looks like a mix of like jazz and Megatron and something else.
Yeah, he's like
Weird.
Megatron from the waist down and
Mhm.
Jazz
The head up.
and yeah, and
It's
like
just
a
weird
bad
black.
pretender for the
Yeah, it does
Jazz.
actually. They freak out and it shoots the Jeep.
Yeah, he
Knocks it.
he just like War of the Worlds that Jeep.
Oh yeah.
Like as soon as he sees it.
I guess it makes sense. He doesn't know what's going on. He sees another vehicle driving towards him. I don't know.
Right. Well, and he hasn't been out in like hundreds of years, so this is like the first mechanical thing coming towards him.
Yeah.
And I mean, Major Dawes and his driver get out in the nick of time before the whole Jeep explodes. But
They
I mean,
pull on G.I. Joe ejection when it gets blown up thing.
oh, totally. But he's a little trigger happy because they got a homing signal basically
Mm-hmm.
calling out. And what if that was an Autobot? What if that was Bumblebee rolling up? And he's like, zap. It's like, oh, sorry, my bad. Friendly fire's on.
Yeah. And then like suddenly there's a seeker there. Just shows up out of nowhere.
Yeah, it literally says he appeared from nowhere.
Which makes you sound like Skywarp.
Right. And
But
here's the fun part though,
Mhm.
is he's colored like Thundercracker
Yep.
in the collected comics.
Yep. Actually, in this comic too.
Okay, yeah. And in the I want to say the US comics when Yom Tov got him,
Yeah.
he's colored like Starscream.
Because of course he is. Because Yom
Yes.
Tov is just way out in left field all the time.
Everybody gets equal time.
I'm sorry, man. I know there's some apologists for Yom Tov. No. Nope.
Well, and I mean the thing that he appeared out of nowhere really leans into Skywarp.
Yeah.
But then they go into the letters column, like we'll run into that a lot later. But someone writes in asking who was it that shot the Man of Iron? And they say it was Thundercracker. That was in the Transformers Annual 1989.
Okay.
Oh wait, yeah, letters page in issue 63, and they had a quiz published in 1989's Annual that backed it up. So
I'm calling BS.
It's Bombshell or Skywarp all over. You know what? At least this would be a new argument.
Man,
I could get 100% behind this argument too.
Yeah, I know. The idea of another argument just makes me tired and pissed off.
So someone needs to ask Flint Dille that in an interview, like who killed the Man of Iron, and he'll be like, "What?
What are you talking about? I didn't do that."
Yeah, well,
I'm glad you didn't, Flint. You made it even worse. Um, so yeah, the Thunder Warp shows up and shoots the Man of Iron, just blows him away. This big like wham thing on the
oh
screen.
yeah, he shreds him. He
Oh yeah,
blows his leg off. I mean, it's pretty intense. It
and
looks like it's from a Skybound comic.
he kind of does. And like suddenly the bone-shaped shuttle that the Autobots have in this is just barreling down through the sky. And showing up right in the nick of time when the Man of Iron is gone. And then like he basically he sends Jazz, he's like, "Are you ready to go, Jazz?" And Jazz is like, "Yep." And he just flies out of the ship and barrels right into Thunder Warp, we'll call him.
With
Skycracker.
Sammy, he jumps out with Sammy inside and then makes Sammy bail out at high speed.
That's right. Oh, that's right. No, I got a little ahead of me. Yeah. He's like, ready to get out, Sammy, and kicks Sammy out at high speed and like, does a whole flip around thing and goes goes and does this kind of rev up to fly into the seeker in question.
Yeah, caught it right. And that's why I just put the Seeker in my
Skycracker.
notes because yeah. And
Skycracker.
did you catch the reference to Sammy's mom a little earlier, a couple
No, I
pages
didn't
back?
actually.
It says she was under sedation because she was in bad shape after Jazz kidnapped her. So she's traumatized now.
Well, yeah, man. Her kid got abducted in broad daylight by Porsche
Right
that
in
was
front of her.
stalking her kid.
The last time she saw him, he was yelling for help out of the closed window, banging on it as it sped away with him.
And
So
if y'all
yeah,
want to see a really good shot of that, look at the art for the cover that Boo made for us.
oh yeah, that was a good one.
Yes.
You can't miss that one.
Mom.
Mom.
So yeah, all this happens. Jazz flies and runs into Thunder Warp, Skycracker, what do you even call him? And Sammy's like, "Dad," and he runs and like he's like, "Sammy, I thought, I'm so glad to see you." And they reunite and they hug and everything's fantastic with them.
Well, it's like they coach Sammy that when you jump out at high speed, run to your dad and tell them to clear out.
Yeah.
And then he says, "Oh yeah, we're already clearing out." So there's nothing they really got from Sammy information wise that they didn't already kind of know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, or could have just gotten from any
Looking
other
at the
way.
situation. Dude,
Right.
there's this
And
great
then
panel. I'm sorry, go ahead.
oh, and then his other thing is tell him to get out. They're all like already doing that. So kidnapping Sammy was completely unnecessary.
I mean, was it though?
I mean, I'm sure it was fun.
No, it was completely unnecessary. This
He'll
is
totally
great.
not be traumatized at all.
There's this great panel of it looks like Buzzsaw or Laserbeak, and
Yeah, it's one of the Condors.
and then one of the Seekers. They're doing this power dive. Really nice art on it too.
Oh
Into
yeah.
into the ground, and you know, Jazz has no problem just shooting him. His shoulder missile launcher cannon thing going off.
But I thought that no, that's the defenses from the shuttle.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. Yes. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
because it came out of the ground. I'm sorry. That was
that's all
actually
right.
another panel where he's using his shoulder launcher.
I will allow it.
I promise I read this. Um,
Oh no, it's a little confusing sometimes.
yeah, there's a
The
lot
way,
going on. Fog of war, if you will.
right.
Um, so I like while he's on the ground. It says while he's on the ground, Jazz transforms into an attack configuration. He turns into a robot. I mean, that's all it is.
Yeah.
I
And in the collected comics and in the US comics, it shows it's Laserbeak that got blasted.
oh, so it's are you mean in the next panel or the one before that?
The one for when
okay.
the shuttle shoots them when they do the dive bomb on it.
Okay, so Laserbeak gets hit.
Yeah, it's Laserbeak. In the two color versions, they at least agree on that, but both Condors are present.
Okay. But
Yeah.
dude, Jazz nails I guess now we're going to be a Thundercracker because it's color like Thundercracker, the Seeker.
The Seeker.
Skycracker.
Seeker number 2.
Yes. He just rips into the Seeker. And then they're like, actually, yeah, and you have Buzzsaw here. He's attacking the Autobot shuttle. Which, where did this bone-shaped Autobot shuttle come from? Where does it go after this?
Where did it come from, Cotton Eye Joe?
Thank you. I
Yeah,
realized I said that. I realized what I did.
couldn't resist.
Yeah.
But yeah, this thing like came out of nowhere, and we never see it again.
Yeah, man. The oh God, what's one call him now? Skycracker or Thundercracker, Skywarp. Yeah. Anyways, crashes in like right outside the castle, and the Decepticons retreat, and everything's good. They're like, "Yay, we won!" But there's this whole scene where after this, I kind of like where Optimus Prime is like, "Well, look, we have an escape craft here, but we can't leave because the Decepticons are here. They're going to do bad things. So we got to stick around a little longer. And we can't leave this ship that's buried into the hill here to be used again. So we got to blow it up."
And I mean, you could at least done a search through it or something.
Yeah, because that is
mean,
really kind of awful what happened.
Yeah, because you want to do the honors?
Oh man, yeah. Optimus Prime basically tells Jazz to destroy the rescue ship, and there is this Autobot navigator strapped down to a table. He's got everything they need to find their way back. He's really resourceful. Good thing that he just blows the ship up and kills that.
Yeah, he's in
Autobot.
stasis down there. Like,
Yeah.
It says all the centuries and millennia he's been down there,
Waiting.
been like a blink to him. Yeah, waiting for them to find him, and they don't even check for him. They just blow it up. They implode him.
Yeah. And then they dump trucks of the humans take dump trucks and drop rocks all on top of the wreckage.
Yeah.
Like, we're gonna shoot you, we're gonna implode your ship, and then we're gonna really make sure you can't get out of that. So sorry, dude, you're done.
They didn't even check out the Man of Iron to see if like he was savable. I mean, you saw like when Gears got all busted up, like, oh well, death isn't the same to us. He can be repaired.
Except like, you're the Man of Iron.
Yeah. And I understand this is supposed to be an isolated story. This is like an anthology story.
They're trying to clean up everything really nicely.
Yeah. It didn't affect anything in the American story one way or the other.
Yeah. And then they're talking about like a year later, there are tourists coming back to visit the castle. And one kind of cool thing that I forgot to mention this when all the battle's going on, it makes point in saying like this is the first time in centuries that the castle has seen a firefight or a battle, which is makes you kind of remember that this was a side of a medieval battle of some sort.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, Sammy grows up. It's a year later. He kind of looks at the castle and I don't know, it's like coming of age, few panels or whatever. But then at the end, it shows that he sleeps and dreams of that Man of Iron all the time.
A fearful sleep.
Yeah.
Whenever the night winds rattle his window. So he's got PTSD from this.
Yeah. He is traumatized. This kid
got the night terrors.
Yeah, he does. Thinking about the Man of Iron who almost killed his dad.
And it says he never saw Jazz again.
Yeah, man. They're just like, all right, we're out of here. Cool. Everyone cool with this? We blew up the hill.
I mean, they didn't even leave it open like where, Simon Furman could go back and have Sammy show up again. Nope. Never saw him again.
No.
Sammy's done.
We're traumatized this kid. We move on to another one. Hey, Buster.
Right? And how strong is Jazz's missile that it can completely implode an entire ocean liner-sized shuttle?
This dude was hiding his power, apparently, pretty well.
Well, or I guess he hit their gas tank,
Yeah, I mean, that's what it was.
It's the Autobot version of a Pinto.
Oh God. Yeah, we were watching randomly the Treehouse of Terror, the Treehouse of Horror. So I think of like the fifth or sixth one, where there's the whole thing with the gremlin on the outside of the school bus.
Oh yeah.
And there's the guy in a gremlin on the side of the bus. He's like, "Hey, there's a gremlin out here. Hey, oh man, cool." And the gremlin gets knocked off the road and drives down. He's like, "Oh, thank goodness," and it blows up. But that was just one of those serendipitous things again today. But man, hold up. We have got the Machine Man with Baron Brimstone and the Sinister Satan Squad.
Not appearing in this film.
Yeah, full on. I went ahead and see what the Sinister Satan Squad looked like, because this is full on Satanic Panic time, and I want to see what these guys look like, because they had to be great. They probably look like D&D characters or something. I don't know, or like goths.
Yeah, they're making us wait for them though.
Yeah, exactly.
Jerks.
So yeah, there's this is one of those. Look, it wasn't great. Dr. Brimstone, or Baron Brimstone, not Dr. Brimstone.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a PhD. He's a Baron. Baron Brimstone, what we said earlier, looks like
He or how did you describe it when you order Edward Hyde off a Wish?
yeah. And he looks like him as like an off the strip Las Vegas hotel magician.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Like
who's
David Copperfield drank Dr. Jekyll's elixir.
and went red.
Yeah, and this is DeFalco and Ditko again. So
Man, look, DeFalco and Ditko didn't always do quality. I'm just gonna say that.
oh yeah, but I gotta say, so far it's better than what we've had before on
It
Machine
is.
Man.
It is better, and I appreciate the return of Gears in this.
Oh yeah, Gears Garvin.
Yeah.
So we
So
got green energy again.
yeah, I
We
saw
had
that.
fusion power last issue. Now we're doing solar power,
Green
and of
energy.
course, yeah, it's Kim Solar, and it's insured, of course, by Delmar Insurance. Like
So old Aaron and is it Eddie and Aaron go
Eddie,
to
yeah,
investigate for their insurance.
yeah, checking out its security systems.
Baron Brimstone shows up, starts attacking, and Aaron disappears.
Yeah, because he wants the Soul Mac, which is essentially a solar powered data transmission death ray.
Yeah,
It's
about
like
that.
I don't want Wi-Fi that's going to set my house on fire.
Oh man, yeah, it was fantastic. I was kind of enjoying it, and then it went to color. By the way, the coloring in this book here is, man, I think they hired Yamtov to do coloring in this. There are like four colors: yellow, blue, red, like bright red, and then like my beard's red, fire engine red
Oh
colors. That's
yeah,
that's the only colors they use in this whole thing.
yeah. They didn't recolor it. I think they just used what was in the American comic
It looks like it.
because it had that much more limited palette. But yeah, and it's really sloppy.
Baron Brimstone has the biggest caterpillar. He's like a Eugene Levy.
Yeah, he's got like a unibrow. Well,
Oh man,
sometimes.
sometimes he's unibrow too. Sometimes he has two woolly caterpillars on his head.
Yeah, they're massive though.
He looks all wide-eyed all the time too. Big, orphan Annie, big round eyes.
His hands are enormous too.
They are. Oh well, if you would drink the Mr. Hyde elixir, you would have huge hands, I guess, too.
Right? I mean, this guy, he looks like he dunked his face in Rogaine.
It does. This is like seriously. This is the sorcerer. What's the opposite of extreme?
Well,
Minor.
yeah, well, I'm thinking like JoJo the dog face boy
He is.
from like back. Yeah,
Oh my God,
yeah, he's got some
Baron
stuff going on
Brimstone's
there.
terrible.
And well, okay, so he's a master of the mystical art. So you're expecting, somebody on par with like Doctor Strange when they say
Yeah.
that, right? Because
Yeah,
he shoots mystic bolts out of his fingers, and he does like finger guns when he does it.
he does.
Yeah,
He does this whole like yeah thing. So it almost has this kind of like Doctor Strange kind of look to it, but not really.
yeah, yeah. It's got like wah wah lines around.
It does.
But okay, and then he can make conical force fields around him that can stop bullets.
Because magic.
Yeah, and when you've got all that magic, the one thing you don't have is a high-tech death ray. So he wants it.
But look at this way, actually. He actually was able to do more to Machine Man than he could have done with his death ray.
Oh yeah, he beat Machine Man like an animal.
He did, and he shoots him with his mystic, power rays.
His
And
bolts.
mystic bolts exposes all his like Machine Man's like chest innards and
Well,
and stuff.
the soul mac exposed his innards.
Oh, is that what it was? Oh, I
Yeah,
see.
he softened him up with his bolts, and then when Machine Man was going to throw a desk at him, he shot him right in the chest with the soul mac and made the desk fall on him.
This is the best thing too. Machine Man, he's like realizing how bad off he is. He's like, I guess my body wasn't equipped to deal with mystic rays or mystic bolts.
Yeah.
He does this whole thing where he gets his knees up around his chest to protect himself.
Oh yeah. Well, first Baron Brimstone didn't kill him. He spared his
Yeah.
life because basically it was beneath him to kill him. It's
First
like
mistake.
I'm too good to kill you.
First mistake. You always
Always.
guy who wants to, take you out. Come on.
Oh
When they
yeah.
do
Now,
something good.
but yeah, what you're saying about the way he, I guess, puts himself back together is hilarious.
Yeah, and he full on dynamites himself out of there.
Oh yeah, because he's like, I don't know. His chest is exposed, so he basically cops a squat.
Pulls his
Wraps
knees
one,
up over his chest.
his knees are up to his chin almost. Wraps one arm around himself, and then pops out his Heelys and scoots with the other arm away.
He would have been better off having that wheel, that
Yeah,
unicycle wheel.
he should have just ran. I mean, this has got to be the least dignified exit for any superhero ever.
You say that, but we haven't seen it past this, so we'll see.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he'll sink
The-
to new depths. And
Dude,
when security
the-
shows up, he runs again instead of explaining the situation.
yeah.
And he sees a cop and he's out.
He wants to be Batman, but he's not.
Machine Man grew up in the hood. He knows when the popo shows up, you got to go.
They know I'm not really white. I'm purple. They'll get me. So yeah, man. They pull and yank himself out of there,
Yeah.
and goes to his favorite new friend, Gears Garvin. Is that his name?
Yeah, good old Gears Garvin.
And Gears Garvin, man, he's helped put him back together and stuff. And he's got it's like this butane torch. He's trying to weld Machine Man back together. He's like lights a cigar and like, all right, let's go back. And that's when comics were different.
Oh yeah, and I mean, this guy, he works in a junkyard and he can just fix anything. Like this Machine Man is supposed to be so advanced, like nothing else exists like him on the planet. But this junkyard guy can, he doesn't just fix him, he upgrades him.
This guy gave him an upgrade of a unicycle last time. So I want to see what's gonna happen to him next.
Oh yeah, and he gave him a new refractive coating this time. So it says you'll get that way he won't get a bad case of heartburn the next time some clown blasts you with a laser.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, that was bad.
yeah, he's upgraded him. I mean, I don't how advanced is Machine Man if the junkyard guy can just slap him back together and
How
upgrade
advanced
him.
was Dynamite? Let's be honest.
Oh, totally. He needs a Blue Falcon.
Le Facon? Sorry.
Oh, good
That,
times.
that was the best take on Barbie Rubber Band. Le
Oh
Facon.
yeah, with Seven.
God, yes.
Oh,
But there's
so
a contest, man. Hold on. It's a blackout.
and I have no idea who any of these robots are.
No, they look so weird. I don't know.
Yeah,
Definitely not any of the main ones we've seen so far.
totally
Definitely,
not from their box art.
yeah, true. Or the fact files, because they don't look anything like the fact files either.
Yeah, none of these guys have been in the fact files.
God, it almost looks like a cat. There's not many cats in this book, so I don't know who it could be.
That's a Doberman, man.
Obviously a dog. Yeah.
Yeah, obviously.
Dude, that kills me every time someone says, "Oh, I had that when I was little. It was a dog." And why would you think it's a dog? What made you think it was a dog?
Well, in their defense, when I was a kid and I first saw the commercial for Ravage, I thought it was a dog too. But then, when
Watch
you
a
read it,
cartoon and hisses and snarls.
yeah, when you actually see it in the cartoon and reading the comics, it's like, yeah, he's a cat.
Look, man, like whatever you think, look the way it moves. It moves like a cat. Anyways, well, I'll let that go for now. There's this guy with this big cannon on his arm. I don't know who that could be.
Yeah,
None of them look like that to me.
yeah.
I can't figure that out at all. But if you're really good and you get all four right, you enter this contest, you get a stencil.
A drawbot stencil.
Drawbot stencil. It's kind of neat, I guess.
A very suggestive drawbot stencil.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Like I said, I had to look it up to see what it actually looked like because that picture is misleading.
That picture is not okay by any stretch of the imagination. Yeah.
And oddly enough, that picture is still cooler than, when you see it for what it is.
Yeah, it is. That leads to the early idea that Transformers are always cooler when they're with clear plastic.
Oh yeah, this is the first clear plastic fiasco.
Yeah. Whatever, it snapped in two. That always kills me.
Oh yeah, that thing is thin too. That broke like the next day.
That's like a protractor.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
There's a big uproar whenever there's like clear parts on current things. I'm like, you do realize I have like 30-year-old Beast Wars things that are fine, right? They're clear plastic.
Oh yeah.
You guys got to be a little more gentle with your collectible things.
Now I've got G1s that are like their whole chest is clear plastic.
Oh
They're
yeah,
still good, and they've been played with. They've been in the sandbox.
Yeah, I mean, look at honestly, the Mazdas, or the Datsuns. I'm sorry, the Datsun guys.
Yeah.
The roof, which, okay, to be fair, a lot of those did break.
Well, and that was a thin spot. I don't think it mattered what kind of plastic that would be. That was going to break.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it's a stress point too. You have to push down on it and all that. Like that's at the pivot point.
Yeah. I would grab a Quick Strike and I'd pull them up. So like, clear plastic still's fine. You got to be careful with your stuff, guys. Don't force it. Excessive force not required.
I'd worry more about the water bladder and the Cobra head because that's kind of thin.
Yeah, well, any of those any of the what are the G2 things that change color? The
the
color change Autobots and Decepticons.
I keep want to call them Aqua Speeders. That was like the UK.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, the color change guys, those all had the
like Deluge and those guys.
Yeah. In the guns.
Mm-hmm.
Or I actually kind of worry about the air bladder that you have in the Hero Prime, the G2
That's
laser.
what I was about to say, the Hero Prime and Megatron.
Yep. G2 Laser Prime, Scourge, or Black Leo Convoy, or Black Leo Convoy, Black Battle Convoy.
Or Black Convoy, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that little accordion launcher.
The thing when you would get a little, those little those water powered rockets.
Yeah.
You like pump up, and those little things that would be a point where they would rip apart the little accordion pump thing.
Yeah, it's always the little folds, little creases always had a weak spot in them.
Yep.
Yeah.
But speaking of weak spots, Robot Roundup. Am I right?
Ah, yes.
There's a nice little mention of Max Steel and the RoboForce.
Yeah, that's like the first thing they went into was Max Steel and his 2-foot robot, not the little tiny ones, but the big one.
2 feet tall, talks a vocabulary of 150 words, has a pressure-sensitive gripper, built-in digital clock, and 2-octave musical scale. It's not 200 pounds, man. That's a pretty impressive thing. So you're
pounds
thinking,
money, not weight.
Yes, sorry. Yes, 200 pounds of glorious British money. That sucker's probably like this big. 2 feet. That's pretty big.
Oh yeah, he's like Fortress Maximus toy size. He's the same size as the Chromobot.
Yes. I had a lot of these RoboForce figures when I was little. It was one of those. It was a weird thing. They all had suction cups on the bottom, so they're like where the feet would be.
Yeah.
The accordion kind of like dangly arms.
Yeah.
They were like, they were a neat little, I guess, sideline or something. It didn't really go very far, and they weren't all that great. But
I think the problem was they advertised them like they were on par with like Transformers. Oh, they fight and they battle, but really they were cute.
Yeah, they kind of were. I had 2 or 3 of them, I think.
Yeah.
They were they kind of like Play School, my first robot.
Yeah.
I mean,
when I was in elementary school, I had a T-shirt with them on it, and I didn't actually own any of the toys, but my grandma got it for me, so I had to wear it, and all the kids at school made fun of me for it.
That wasn't the shirt thing they made fun of you about. It was you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I was an easy target as it was. So I mean, it's just punching down at that point.
Yeah. So you found us a picture of the poor old Hubot, the
The
robot.
Hubot.
So you did a little dive on this one, I guess.
Oh, I just looked that up because I had to laugh when it said it didn't know the time and temperature, and he thought he was a rowboat when they asked him what he was. And so, yeah, so I just had to Google it and see if it was a joke. It sounds like it was like satire, like they were just yanking their chain on it.
Yeah.
And no, it was a real thing. And its face looks like the little sticker that's inside of Ironhide and Ratchet,
It
the
does.
G1 versions. Yeah, he's got like their sticker face, like that pole position robot
Yes.
face. It's on their screen.
Little screen inside the pole position cars on the show. Yeah.
Yeah.
100% that. I
And
looked at it and like, that looks really familiar. That you nailed it with that.
oh yeah. So yeah, the seat that everyone would sit in Ratchet and Ironhide is the same as Hubot's face.
I'm like one of the few people who says now that they really liked that Ironhide and Ratchet kind of thing. It
Oh
would
yeah.
didn't like the show, no, but it was really neat. I always liked it. I never had it myself when I was younger, so I was able to get it later on.
I think if they had actually made the animated versions look
Mhm.
more like the toys, it wouldn't have bothered us as much. It's just it was
Yeah.
so different.
Well, I mean, look at Megatron.
Oh yeah. Well, look at Bumblebee even.
Oh yeah. Well,
Yeah.
most well, actually, I wouldn't say most of the microbots or the minibots.
At least their face Brawn doesn't look anything really like.
Oh, you mean it doesn't have the clicky claws?
It doesn't
Puffer?
claws. He's got like the helmet shaped head, like his basic like head, like the
Yeah,
helmet, but not
that's
the
it.
face. The face is like completely different.
Wind Charger doesn't. Okay, they really none of them do.
Yeah.
Just say that.
Windcharger and Huffer are probably the closest body wise, but
Yeah,
Huffer's hands and
pipes.
all their faces were completely anthropomorphized.
Yeah. No, actually, I did that. Wind Charger was my first Transformer I had. My parents got
Hmm.
that for me at Sears when they still sold toys in there. So I always remember Wind Charger always kind of holds a special place for me because of that.
Yeah,
But
he was one of the first mini bots I got.
yeah. So we go on to talking about this robotic pterosaur, pteranodon, pterodactyl. I don't know what it is exactly. That the Pasadena Smithsonian Institute, or actually no, the Smithsonian Institute in Washington got a little extra money, and
Yeah.
they constructed this like animatronic pterodactyl looking thing. I don't exactly know what kind of dinosaur it was, but it was a pterosaur of some sort.
It's a pteranodon.
Is it pteranodon? Okay, I
Yeah.
didn't catch
At
that.
least if that's the one they pictured in there, it's a pteranodon.
Yeah, let's see. Is the Universe of Energy Meyer the audio animatronics that recreate prehistoric scenes?
It looks pretty cool.
It does actually. It looks good. Who knows how it was, honestly.
Right. Well, it's early 80s,
Yeah,
extinct creatures because, it's not even really a dinosaur.
yeah,
But
with feathers, man. Come on,
yeah, it's like Land of the Lost, basically.
pretty close.
Yeah.
We really didn't even start seeing dinosaurs with feathers until like really somewhat recent, maybe the last 10 to 15 years.
Oh, yeah. Well, like what Jurassic Park 3 is the first time you saw one in the media that had like
Yeah, with the
a couple of feathers on it.
and the raptors are way too big still, but yeah.
Yeah.
But next page we go on to Maggie meets Mechanical Man.
Yeah. So Margaret Thatcher and Argon the robot argue over who's more soulless.
She is the Iron Lady after all. How appropriate that she's in the third issue of the Iron Man.
Right. And I thought it was kind of weird the way that they lead into that because they're like, and while we're on the subject of Russians, and then it talks about her and Argon, and neither of them have any overt ties to Russia.
That was the weirdest. It was this just, by the way, let's go this direction with what we're talking about.
I think they rearranged the paragraphs in here
They
because they
had
later go into that the Russian robot Taylor.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, I think the Margaret Thatcher part of it was the bookend,
It had to have been.
and they moved it up. And now it sounds like she's a Russian collaborator.
Yeah, so I was reading this and I'm like, this it sounds so disjointed. That may be why, because they
Mhm.
edited it and well, let's put this all together in one thing.
Yeah.
Because there's the Taylor bot and there's like has Donald Pleasance, from Halloween and many others, getting his tie done or something with these big goofy hands reaching over him.
It looks like it's killing him.
It does. It looks like it's choking him.
Yeah.
It's a Russian Taylor bot.
I guess you see Donald Pleasance and you automatically think that, he's either going to, fight Michael Myers or James Bond. So,
God, that was the weirdest robot roundup, but it is robot roundup, so
and they mentioned Herbie Hancock again this time.
they do.
And
And
did you see the name of Jim Whiting's robots?
no.
They're pervy men. His pervy men robots. And those are the ones that he used in Rocket.
Oh God, they were pretty.
Pretty
They were,
pervy.
yeah, they were pretty suggestive. We'll say that. Or anyone who has their children's listening, suggestive.
Suggest.
Da, da, da. Um,
So, and something else about the editing I've noticed in this issue, especially,
mhm.
is they go and they do the localization where basically they add all the U's to the American words that don't have them,
Yeah,
and they were kind of sloppy with it, especially in Machine Man.
I didn't catch
I
that.
guess, yeah, there you can tell everywhere they localized a word and changed it to its British spelling. It's just kind of scribbled in. It's not even like they didn't even try to match the handwriting or the font or whatever. It's just like,
I know,
here, paste it and slap it over it.
I know this comic is getting better. It's still not good, and I'm over here just skimming it. Like, come on, man! Like, is there something going on here? Something I need to know about? The
Oh, and we forgot Baron Brimstone apparently can cast sleep on security guards.
well, he's a low level wizard. We know that much at
I was
least.
gonna say he's like level 3.
Yeah. He's
He doesn't have fireball yet. You know?
he yes, magic missile and sleep.
Yeah.
He's yeah, he's the guy you meet in the inn. You like, okay, we need a wizard. We'll take that guy. He's kind of sketchy looking. Well, he's a level 3. He'll hopefully get better while we're
He's your level 1 character's dungeon boss
oh,
for like
he
their
is,
first
isn't he?
mission.
He is, isn't he?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, he looks like it too. He looks like the old D&D art.
Oh, yeah. Oh, totally. First edition. This isn't even like second edition Hildebrandt stuff. This is
My yeah, my stepdaughter was she's getting ready to um run a D&D game on Discord with friends. I talked to her about it before and she wanted to, do a game and stuff. We were talking about doing it together here. Well, that kind of died off. And today she says, "Hey, I need to get, I need to look at the characters." So my wife goes and grabs the fifth edition, is it now? Yeah, the current fifth edition, I think is what it is, that I
yeah.
got a while back ordered, and also grabs my first edition Monster Manual and DM's Guide.
Oh boy.
I said, "You don't need these. The Monster Manual here, you're not gonna like the art in this. However, I love the art in that. Oh my God, the devils themselves so good in the Monster Manual.
Oh yeah. Completely not family friendly.
The Bone Devil,
Yeah.
uh, Pit Fiend, the Asmodeus. They have the fantastic magic items in the first edition DM guide. Love them. Those
You
first
need to
edition,
introduce her to Thaco next time.
man. I don't even want to get into Thaco again. We left that behind at third edition.
Oh, I know.
Thaco. Why do we need to subtract and then add? Can we just all do it all at once? Why do we have to
Yeah. I always
have
wonder why did they have the scale go down for that instead of just, flip it.
They were like, well, if we lower the armor class, so Thaco has to go against. No, go up, one direction. So you had to do basic math whenever you're playing. That's probably why the nerds only play D&D
Yeah, you had to know calculus for
and
getting
have
the psionics and
God no. And then you had to have your DM's screen that has like 100 tables on it.
get
It's
your
like, hold
slide rule out.
on. Okay, go here, here. You hit.
I think they use less math to get to the moon
Wait,
than like second edition D&D
God. That's why D&D nerds got a bad rap in the 80s because it was hard.
because it was
It,
deserved.
it was deserved. That too, yes. Um
You know, if Jack Chick wanted to scare people away from D&D, you know, he should have just had people play it back in the 80s. I mean,
Here,
that would have scared most people off.
hand you a calculator. Okay, you're gonna need this.
Yeah,
Why?
you have to do
Go find out.
math. Oh, I'm done.
Here, you're going to play this with tiny D6s on a flat panel with no guards up, so they're all your D6 are gonna fall on the floor every time you roll a fireball. Good luck.
Yeah.
And still, one of the best things when you okay, nerd
You
out
have to do math to open a door in this game. It's like you'd scare everybody off from it right there.
Yep. To nerd out for a second, there's nothing more pleasing than grabbing a handful of D4s or D6s, just going,
Oh yeah. You don't even care what it rolls. It's all the noise it makes.
like this. I'm bringing out the sawed-off shotgun, man. This is gonna be good right now. Okay,
Right.
I know.
And don't get me wrong, I love D&D. I've played it for decades,
Oh
but you
yeah,
know, I am not at all I guess I have no illusions about it.
no, I know. Me either.
I cast disbelief.
I actually played a lot of D&D with Ed, and a bunch of other people too. So it's always kind of those fun things. Hey, let your kids have an imagination. We didn't need screens and telephones and stuff when we were kids.
And I misspoke. I guess I meant to say I roll to disbelieve before we get the actually guy in the comments.
Actually, we're gonna roll your disbelief.
Worst role player ever.
Roll your perception check. God, that reminds me. There's a new song. There's a guy from I think he's from New Zealand named Tom Cardy, who does like he started getting big whenever he's during the lockdowns.
Mm-hmm.
He does like almost like spoof songs, but not quite. But he does all the instruments and stuff himself. There's a song he just put out called Perception Check, which I gotta send to you. It's fantastic.
Oh, please do.
Oh yeah, it's full on D&D nerd stuff. But dude, Matt and the Cat is back just to tell you you need to subscribe to your comics.
Yeah. See, that's more subliminal messages they're working in.
Man, this wasn't even subliminal. They're on their way to Darkon
Yeah.
planet, and the cat's just reading a comic.
Yeah, and Matt's
Matt's
yelling at him for it.
yeah, Matt's yelling at, why are you doing a reading comic? Like, did you know you can get a whole year of comics sent to you first class mail?
Yeah, you can subscribe to your favorite comic and it just shows up.
Like the Transformers. Yeah,
Right.
I was this is pretty blatant.
You know, and I'm still reminded that their first class mail was actually first class.
Ours is no class.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, when you would get comics mailed to you, the mailman would mangle them. They'd cram them into that mailbox, and if you had a package, it was following it in to really, rip that cover.
God, that's still happening now.
Oh yeah, roll it up, shove it in there.
Kids, you need to use FedEx, trust me.
That's why old comics are worth more now because they went through the mail.
It's funny, like I would see like when I was younger, like looking at the things like you can subscribe to the comic, it'll be sent to you. I always kind of like going to the comic shop and have the a guy who thought I had really bad taste in comics yelling at me about the comics I was buying. I remember going to the comic shop and getting G2 Transformers comics, trying to get back issues. The guy
Mm-hmm.
was like, "Yeah, check the quarter bin," and they were all reading Spawn. So
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, when I first got into like comic book stores, when I first found a comic book store, I was actually looking for Transformers. because it was after the show had ended, and I hadn't really kept up with the comic at the
Yeah.
time. So I'd read like the first few, and then when the show ended, I started looking for the comics, and
Yeah,
that was like
actually,
in the early '40s.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
and so that's how I hunted. And that's actually in that same comic shop I first saw the UK comics. I had no idea they're these big magazine size.
and I love that too. That the fact that they are huge. They remind me when I was younger, my brother would get these comics called Epic,
Yeah,
and they were like the magazine size. They were really cool. They were kind of like they're kind of like heavy metal fantasy.
right. Like the old Conan comics, the
Yeah,
big ones.
100%.
Yeah,
Yeah, they were fantastic. Good art. He didn't get them for a long time, but I remember he got them. I looked through them and I didn't really get it. So
they always had all kinds of crazy pulp comics that were in that format.
yeah, it's sort of kind of a lost art, I'd say. Well,
Yeah,
it is a lost art. Whenever we had like a giant X-Men or whatever, the people are like, like, oh my God, this is huge. And the British people are like, yeah, we get this all the time. What,
yeah.
why are y'all excited about this?
They just got cheap on us and
Yeah.
slipped it under the radar.
Yeah, then had cheap newsprint style pages and things like that.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, like all my first Transformers comics before I found this comic store, all from gas stations and stuff.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
remember back when I grew up working in Albertsons in Pensacola. I grew up.
Mm-hmm.
One of my first jobs, and I always be in there, you know, getting things ready at the end of the night and stuff. And you'd always see that there was like a pack of 3 or 4 comics, and always had that Transformers versus GI Joe or GI Joe
Yeah.
versus Transformers with like Bumblebee being like blown up on the cover.
Oh yeah.
And I actually had gotten that. It was a terrible comic, but there's a lot of things like that. They were packed trying to get rid of the comics because I guess they just didn't sell like Spider-Man does or
Yeah. Toys R Us had those 3 packs like that too. That's where I got a lot the ones from like I guess from the teens.
Mhm. Oh
Like
yeah.
I guess from issue 10 to like I want to say like 15,
I
16,
think that's
something
where I
like
read a
that.
lot of them. My friend Matt, I read a lot of his early comics too. I kind of did a kind of weird backwards thing where I read a lot of the comics, but I didn't actually have any of them. And then I got
Mm-hmm.
the last Autobot though, the last issue of the original run, and I
Yeah.
started kind of going backwards from there.
Mm-hmm.
So I was totally confused about what was happening with Nucleon and all that at the end.
Oh yeah. See, I did that from like issue 41 back.
It was 41.
That was the big battle on the moon with like all the Autobots and Blaster and Grimlock were going to face off for leadership.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, which we'll get to that one. That one's in this run, so we'll
Oh,
get there.
nice.
Yeah, but I found that one, and then I think the 3 that came after that at
I
a gas station, and
nice.
started backtracking. And I'd read them up to I say issue 7, which we're coming up on that soon, which will be the introduction of the Dinobots.
Nice.
So there was a big gap though from like issue 7 to 41 that I had not read.
Okay.
So I got to piece those together.
Yeah, those weren't really the best stories either. So
Yeah.
I
The car
remember going
wash
back.
of doom.
Yeah. I remember going back through the Matrix Quest and like being thoroughly confused because I'd no I never had Nightbeat. I never had any of those. I never had Thunderwing and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So I didn't really get into them as much. I was just reading stories essentially at that point with robots.
Mm-hmm.
But man, real quick, I got to say this ends with a big ad for Ghostbusters. You could be a certified Ghostbuster. Save the world.
Yeah.
I
Definitely certified.
yeah. Yeah, this um Ghostbusters, the first one came out in 84, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so I mean this was big, big, big. People were like all kids were all about Ghostbusters and things like that. This is I think when the oh what was it was a Filmation Ghostbusters came out.
Oh yeah, the Filmation Ghostbusters. Yeah,
Thoroughly confused
with
me
the gorilla.
the gorilla and the guy with the blonde hair and the goofy car.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thoroughly
And they were the first Ghostbusters because they were based on the live action like '70s show with like
yeah.
Larry Storch.
Yeah, it's so weird and bonkers. But then you come across they did the real Ghostbusters, which is legally what they had to do, I guess.
Oh yeah, and didn't Toei animate that too?
Think so.
Yeah, I think
Really good.
Akon may have got a few in there too.
It was a well animated series. That the real Ghostbusters was a really good animated series.
It was pretty dark, especially for
Yeah.
like at the height of the Satanic Panic. They had some pretty like scary stuff in there
One of the
for
favorite episodes
kids.
I'll always remember is when that guy was playing the flute to end the world and call for the demons and stuff.
Oh yeah.
That was one of my favorite episodes. That was a really dark one.
Well, and they actually fought Cthulhu, didn't they? In one
It did at one point, yeah.
episode, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that show got away with a lot of cool stuff. It was, and I love it too. Like, what was the Tobin's Spirit Guide?
Yeah.
That show was like a monster manual of Tobin's Spirit Guide because every time they see something new, like you gotta be like, oh yeah, according to Tobin's Spirit Guide. That
Oh yeah, he was always quoting it like like it was the monster manual.
he was. It was fantastic. We're gonna ramble on about 80s and 90s cartoons a lot. See if we just sit here and talk about it.
Yeah, another 2 hours.
Yeah, if you're lucky, y'all. So let's go ahead and end
That's
it.
if we cut it short.
Yeah. Um, we're doing these episodes because there was some problems where I had some inconsistencies where Ed either got sick or got hurt, or I was busy with work. So we're trying to get some things built up. So these may come out who knows when, but if when we need a break or I've got COVID for the fourth time or whatever happens, it'll be there. So that's the whole thing. So these come out like in a month from now. Are bad, but we want to get something backlogged. So I appreciate Boo helping me do that, and so we
We
don't.
get to it when we get to it.
Yeah, well, it helps not to feel so much pressure to actually constantly have to do something because I feel obligated because I like doing this. This is my escape.
Well,
And
and we want to make sure there's regular content for
yeah,
everybody.
yeah, this
So
is my escape. This is people say like, hey, thanks so much for doing this. You didn't have to do that, man. I enjoy doing this. It's not easy. I don't have an editor. I edit everything myself, which is why sometimes it doesn't look the best because I'm editing it.
and you don't have to break my arm to get me to read Transformers or talk about it.
No, don't do that. And
Yeah.
Boo does a good job with getting me the gifts. And anyone who says GIFs, you're wrong. So the
I
get
just say GIF. So then you're just covered.
graphic graphic interface. Anyways,
Yeah.
we don't say graphic. Anyways, so that's gonna piss me.
Jurassic Park.
So gifts and the cover art that we have on the episode. So I really appreciate all that. But I want to have you take us out with a poem, if you will.
Yes. An Ode to the Transformers by Anthony McEwen. Transformers are the greatest. I think you will agree that Megatron is huge and evil as can be. Bumblebee is brave, the smallest of the lot, as eager as Sideswipe, though his weapons aren't so hot. Optimus does well to rule the Autobots, and with his laser gun, plagues old Meggy's lot. Ravage the spy, as silent as can be. He changes to a tape cassette and listens carefully. Bluestreak is a gunner who loves to hear his voice, though destroying Decepticons would count as his first choice. Frenzy sends high frequencies to short out all machines, and with his brother Rumble, he makes a deadly team. Good luck to all you Autobots. I wish you all good cheer. I hope that you all may have an extremely good year.
Happy New Year, everyone.
I think that was a tire joke at the end.
I didn't see any desert dog in that line.
Yeah, or Dunlop.
Now, actually, it wasn't as bad as it could have been. That was actually not bad.
It was actually very good. And
Yeah.
I mean, unless I find something older than that, or someone can, if you know of an older Transformers poem that was published officially, let me know because I'm interested.
I don't think so.
I think this is the first.
Good job. What's his? I'm trying
Anthony.
to look. Anthony. Yes. Good job, Anthony. Maybe you're pretending you weren't a Transformers fan and didn't write a poem, but Anthony McEwen or Anthony McEwen and no Anthony. McEwen,
Anthony. Yeah, there's
yes,
no
of
H.
Cromarty, Rothshire. We know who you are.
If anybody else has any like Transformers poetry, they can always like slap it in the comments.
Dude, send us your Transformers poetry. Email
Maybe
me.
we'll read it.
morethanmeetstheseguys@gmail.com. Please email me. I will read it. I promise you. I will
Oh,
be.
I totally want to read it.
Oh yeah. Go to the Discord. The Discord link is in the show notes.
Oh yeah.
If you're feeling generous, find the link in the show notes, the Patreon. I'm just saying, but we appreciate you all being here.
If you subscribe to the Patreon, I'll definitely read it.
We might have to read that in a Patreon only after dark one. I'm sure if you're going to read it like that.
Why do you want to punish them? You're supposed to encourage people to be patrons. You have to pay to stop me.
Yes, see, that's it. You subscribe, have them read it, and then you have to subscribe again to get them to stop reading it.
It's a trap.
Works. And I will say, Danny and Jess, thanks for so much for being patrons. We don't really, I don't offer anything in exchange except for my thanks, and hopefully my MacBook lasts long enough for to have enough in there to replace it. But thanks so much for being here, everyone. I appreciate you all, and Boo, thanks for being here, man. And we will
Yay.
go on, and we'll see you next time. Later,
We're
y'all.
gonna get Vogue on poetry.
No, we will not be built on poetry. More Than Mises Guys is performed by Evan Johns and Ed Strickland. Research is performed by Evan Johns, Ed Strickland, and with special research done by Boo of the AxelonUnderground.net. All used images in the videos are property of Sunbow, Hasbro, Paramount, or Marvel. And as always, thank you so much for tuning in every week with us. We appreciate it.